Get the mantra for spiritual enlightenment and mastery of artistic endeavors at JasonJGallant.ca. Today I thought I'd make a video about spiritual glimpses. And what I mean by this is that as you travel along this journey, this path, and you're meditating, you're applying your spiritual practice of whatever form you have decided is right for you. Perhaps it's mantra, perhaps it's meditation, perhaps it's yoga, perhaps it's pranayama, shamanism. There's many different ways that you can experience this path. There are many people that show devotion towards various forms of reality, such as the deities, or such as the Norse tradition or the Christian tradition. It doesn't really matter. It's more about learning the internal mechanism and allowing yourself to be one with the universe. That's really what this is about. So there are many different ways to do this, many different ways to take down those barriers between you and the divine, okay? And by the divine, I mean this, experiencing this as it is, experiencing it in the most authentic, primal, truthful way possible. And yes, your experience will evolve over time, and your experience of reality will change as you go deeper and deeper into the unconditional self. Okay? But what happens to many people on the spiritual journey is that they have glimpses. They're applying their spiritual principles or their spiritual exercises, or they're meditating, with a fervor, right? And then all of a sudden something collapses, some internal judgment or structure of their ego collapses. And then they experience a magical shift where all of a sudden life just looks different. It looks different to them, okay? Now, it's important for you to know that there's a difference between a spiritual shift and an awakening where the entire game of collapsing ego is gone, okay? But as you go through these spiritual shifts, there can be some beautiful experiences that happen to you. And it is pretty common for you to strive for those experiences again. You go back, you're like, oh, I wish today, I wish it was Monday again on the day that I had that great experience, because man, Tuesday's just not looking so good, okay? So it's pretty common for you to say, geez, I lost my spiritual attainment. I lost my spiritual realization. I lost it. Where did it go? What happened to it, right? Okay, so, I was talking to a student today, and I was explaining this to her, that although there are many beautiful spiritual shifts and experiences, as you let in more of reality, what you are faced with after is another wall where you are not allowing in a deeper level of reality. And know that this is a blessing, because some people can sit at a certain level of this blessing as they unravel a wall. They can sit there for 10 years, 10 lifetimes, whatever. But if you're really a spiritual aspirant, you're saying, no, I want to dissolve all of it. I want to achieve liberation. I want to go beyond the entire game of walls and the ego and who am I and all this. I want to realize who I truly am. I want to realize my most authentic self. That is beyond thought, that is beyond idea, that is beyond polarities, okay? So don't worry if this happens to you. Don't worry that if you have a beautiful shift on Monday and then Tuesday comes along and you feel like hell, okay? Because this is a blessing. This means that your spiritual efforts are paying off. This effort is moving you into a constant evolution so that you will strive to realize the unconditional self, okay? So, I'll show you a clip here, but it reminds me of the game of Pac-Man, okay? You're a little Pac-Man and you're eating the pellets, and I always talk about Pac-Man, but I thought, this even applies here even more. Okay, you're eating the pellets, so say this is suffering, say depression, anxiety, worry, boredom, doubt, shame, all these things, and your Pac-Man character's eating these things. And then at some point, the entire time you're actually getting, chased by ghosts, and you can look at these ghosts as, maybe the present day pain in the butts that come up, like the type of suffering, like, things that happen in your workplace, things that happen in your relationships, things that happen externally, right? You're getting chased by those things at the same time as you're taking care of these little pellets, right? You're being with all the suffering and you're letting yourself gobble it up, and there's trusting that it will bring you spiritual points, some sort of point system where one day you go beyond this game of suffering because you become one with the suffering, right? When the two become one, then nothing is there except for love, just the one state of all things, okay? So yeah, you're eating these pellets, and then at some point you eat a large pellet, you know, and then you're impervious to these external events. And you can look at this almost like a spiritual experience, because when you go through these dramatic, massive shifts, it seems like the entire world, you know, means nothing to you. You're just invulnerable to all the pains that come up in your life, you know. For short periods of time, you're just so blissful and feeling so great that it doesn't matter what's going on, you're pretty good, you know. But then eventually, as you know, Pac-Man, if you've ever played the game, he loses that power and then goes back right to the path again. He's right to the path of eating the pellets. So if you wish to go beyond the level in Pac-Man, you have to continue eating the pellets. So if you wish to go beyond the level of ego or identification you have right now, you must continue to accept and be with what is shown to you internally, okay? So yeah, don't lose faith just because it seems like things are going wrong, okay? Or if it seems like you are terribly unspiritual for a period of time and there's this massive amount of pain coming up. At that point, it's just a bigger pellet for you to eat. It's a bigger pellet for you to become one with. And if you could just have faith, and just enough faith just to allow yourself to let these energies do what they will do, it will pay off in far larger ways than you can ever imagine. Okay? And on that note, this is the Saraswati principle. It's divine knowledge. It's real truth. It's the enlightenment knowledge, to understand what is really happening amidst the storm of energies that you're in the middle of. Saraswati teaches you the secrets of this. And I just actually produced an MP3 of this, and it's on my website right now if you want to get it. But this is the Saraswati principle. Divine understanding, you know, spiritual understanding in all things, okay? So I hope this video helps, and take care for now.